And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Predator Alliance League 2020 Summer. Of course, this is all powered by Globe Telecom Twitch Student and presented by Globe Prepaid's Virtual Hangouts. We'll be your shoutcasters for today for League of Legends. I hope you guys enjoyed Hearthstone earlier. I'm Hiron. With me is for Zerk. What is up?
Hey Aaron, what's up? How you doing today?
You're doing fine. Actually, not that fine after UPD's loss yesterday. But it
Oh
seems that
man.
we have a new semifinals match for today. Who will be the predator and who will be the prey in this matchup? Best of five semifinals between the UST Teletigers and the FUIT iTamaraws. It's gonna be
Yeah,
quite exciting.
quite exciting. And
Mhm.
you know, it's arguable to say, but people coming in this semifinals, not just the alliance participants, everyone in the audience, the popular consensus is UST yung favorites. So is this something that you agree with, Hyron?
Yeah, I think FIT has that hunger to win, as well as a lot of potential and growth coming from group stage. But UC Teletigers, they've been so clean. They even have room for a lot of their games. They even have room to mess around a little bit, experiment, which is how ahead they were. And I think that will reflect here. Uh, hmm, uh, I'm torn between predicting 3-1 and 3-0 here for in favor of UST, but I think I'm gonna have to go 3-1. That's like the safe answer. What about you, Berserk?
I'm gonna be a little bit ballsy today.
Mhm.
I'm feeling a 3-0 for UST right now. The imagery just it's still stuck in my head when I forget which team that was, but when they were doing like they were playing with their food for 5 minutes, just dancing around the enemy nexus, and that just shouts dominance for me. That shouts that they can do whatever they want against
Yeah.
whichever opponent they face. So I'm expecting a lot from UST for this series, but again, this is a best of five, and it's not your typical best of one. The approach is definitely different.
Yeah,
FIT, I'm
definitely.
sure they've prepared in their own way, and we also know that their macro game is pretty solid. So
Yes.
we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and yeah, that's what I really like about FIT. It's just that the roster seems to work so well together, and they're very often on the same page. But Teletigers, like I said, uh, tigers are usually like solitary predators, but here it seems like they act as a unit, which is of course to be expected from an organization that has drafted these players. And I'm looking forward to how it goes. Of course, we have our predictions. You guys should go and predict before the game starts. You guys should join our predict and win giveaway here. So check out the Esports Arena page. There should be a page there which has hashtag TGR win and hashtag FIT win. You just need to share that photo, read the mechanics. You share that photo with either TGR win or hashtag FIT win with, of course, the score that you're predicting. And one lucky winner who guesses correctly, I believe, will have a chance to win some prizes. Of course, looking at the semifinals bracket, uh, coming immediately from group stage, Oblation Esports, they're unfortunate 1-3, but how? Really showing themselves to have grown so much since group stage. Like they made very good use of that
Mm-hmm.
time in between group stage. As for Teletigers and iTamaraws, still to be decided.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday house performance was actually very surprising. They were very domineering against the UPD Oblation Esports. Especially, seems like their mid laner Parsifal and their top lane Red Flag really stepped up their game. And coming into the finals, be it against UST or be it against FIT, for sure, it's gonna be one heck of a challenge. So we'll have to see right there.
Yeah, and usually, like us in the analyst desk yesterday, we pegged that Kinzon was the core of their team. They always play around him. He has the highest stats among all the ADCs in Alliance League, but it seems like they've adapted, and Parzival and Red Flag really stepped up. Let's see if iTamaraws has anything new to bring against the Teletigers. Because if they're gonna be coming up against this like fan favorite team, they're gonna have to have aces up their sleeves.
Yeah, definitely, and more to that. The core of FIT seems to be their macro, but some of the analysts, some of the casters do agree that their bot lane is somewhat the
Weak
lane that
here,
yeah
yeah.
the weak lane, and the problem is they're against UST and Crescio of everyone in their
Yeah,
rosters in the
that's
bot lane.
terrifying.
So that's kind of that's a
Yeah, that's
yikes.
kind of a monkey-esque moment here. But let's see. Their bot lane here doing Infinity. They are, if they can step up here, like how House stepped up their solo laners, then they have a very good chance here against the Teletigers. But looking at the bans so far, that is going to be Syndra, of course, banned against the Teletigers, and Hecarim, which has been rising in popularity in this patch for the semis. Like we saw a lot of Hecarim picks and bans yesterday, and it seems like the same is true for this first game of this best of five.
Yep, and it's important to note, by the way, that it's going to be UST Pao playing for the mid lane for this series. Oh, well, yeah, for game one at the very least. So this Syndra ban is against him.
Yes.
So Teletigers, they do answer in kind, another strong lane ban in the form of the Renekton. So they don't want iTamaraws to have that really strong early game, that really strong pillar in the top lane. Meanwhile, Caitlyn getting answered, really a popular ban because it's arguable that she's the priority AD carry pick right now in the meta. So there you have it.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to see because Tenebri has shown himself to have like a diverse champion pool for bot lane, and this Caitlyn ban here. Let's see what tricks he has up his sleeve. Let's see if this Ashe gets picked up by Teletigers, but iTamaraws might be looking to take that while banning the Caitlyn for first pick. And Karma, of course, Creshel's Karma, extremely terrifying to face. Just the pressure that he applies in, wherever he goes. And yeah, it's going to be the Ashe Amita lock-in here from the Teletigers.
Yeah, and looks like yeah, like you said, Ash being hovered, and Senna and Rakan are actually still open for Crescio, but looks like they are thinking about prioritizing taking this Ash, which gives them the AD carry with the most agency, I would say, because of that enchanted crystal arrow. And I like how the iTamaraws responded by taking away Crescio Senna, because Ash with Senna in lane, it's kind of really hard to deal with given the players who are playing them, right? So might as well take that away, and we'll have to see what's going to be paired with that.
Yeah, and it's not only just oppressive in lane and has a lot of utility. The pressure it applies to the rest of the map as well. Enchanted Crystal Arrow, the Senna ulti. Ooh, I like the Lilia pickup here.
Right.
Very in the top 3 contested junglers internationally right now. At least no, most of the leagues are playing in 10.16, but we're playing in 10.18. Still Lilia, very very strong. Let's see how Teletigers round out their first half of their picks here.
Yep, and Yato is, I'm sure, very practiced on this champion. We all know what a really good Lilia player can do, especially with really accurate landing of skills. But okay, this is very interesting for me. Evelyn and Katarina getting hovered by. You don't really see this in competitive play. Evelyn, yes, we did see an Evelyn from UPD yesterday, and also in pro leagues internationally, it has had its appearances, but right now, so yeah, it actually gets locked in the Eve, but not the Katarina. It's gonna be the blind pick Yone. So
it is a blind pick Yone, which opens up iTamaraws to respond to it. But this is Teletigers asserting their dominance just from the draft. Okay, we're gonna pick up the Yone here, and we're not afraid of what you're going to put a pit against this Yone. And this Lucian is gonna get locked in for iTamaraws here. It's been a I guess it's one of those AD carries that you could lock in. It's also possible it could be top lane. I'm gonna have to see though.
Yeah, so iTamaraws, they answer in kind with their own really strong early game pick. It is actually a flex pick, like you said. So in terms of team comp, there's no commitment yet in regards to where the carries will be. But first ban coming out, Braum. Very interesting ban for me on the side of the iTamaraws, because Braum is actually one of the supports that you'd like to pair with you'd like to have with Lucian on your team.
And
but
if you're this might
he could
indicate that
even
they're not bringing this Lucian in bot lane.
It might. Then again, I think this kind of telegraphs that they want to sort of go in on their team, because having a Braum with that shield up negates just so much damage. So that's one thing to take note of as well. And Shen is the response uh, of the Teletigers. So Shen, a really popular pick nowadays. Shen jungle, top, and support. It's a triple flex.
And just the like combine it with Senna, even if it's not in the same lane, just the amount of safety you can give your other
Right.
laners, just with the Senna ulti as well as the Stand United, that could turn a lot of possible ganks or
Ooh.
solo kills into
Fine.
an advantage for them. And this is gonna be the Ornn lock-in here for iTamaraws. First pick on the second rotation. What do you think about this so far?
Well, I think Ornn into whatever team blind is fine because it's a tank. It can upgrade the items of your teammates if it gets to that point. But this means that it's subject to a counter pick. So probably this Akali is what
Oh yeah.
Dane has in mind to combat this Ornn with, and Akali is really strong early game. So we'll against melee champions. Just to add to that. And so we'll have to see if this Akali will get to snowball the top lane. But that's of course an if, and the last pick is going to be a set getting
Wow.
locked in for Crescio. Ooh.
Set really such a versatile champion. We were like when Set was released, we're all thinking, oh, this is gonna be a top laner or jungler, but so many possibilities are open to Set that we've seen not just in a Predator Alliance League, but in other international leagues as well, qualifiers for Worlds, etc. And it's scary coming in from the Teletigers. As for the iTamaraws, they seem to favor a lot of safety here, Senna and Tarek.
Right. I actually do like this draft of iTamaraws. It offers a lot of versatility. There's Engage coming from the Ornn, even the Lilia possibly with the Lilting Lullaby and damage sources. It's there. The Lucian and the Senna. There's Sustain from the Senna. Tarek with his Cosmic Radiance. It's gonna be really key to negate all of the incoming damage from this like from the squad of UST. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 sources of really big damage. So I think that's what's really going to come into play for iTamaraws to get that those team fight wins going.
Yeah, that puts a heavy burden in Infinity here. Like expecting the damage of the Akali and the Evelynn, and then you also have to worry about the Yone, and of course this is the like you said, 4 damage dealers is the sheer DPS of that Ashe once it gets going. It's gonna be really tough here for Infinity, and it's gonna be a test for him to see if he's able to communicate with his team and get those really nice Cosmic Radiances. But yeah, so far, I've been predicting 3-1. For Zerk is predicting 3-0. But of course, we have another another person, another being, another being's opinion to consider here, of course, which is Shamey the Hedgehog. Let's bring out. Yesterday, Shamey wasn't doing too hot with her prediction. Predicted they was at a 3-0 in UPD, but the Hedgehog did choke on some kibble, so maybe
Yeah, right.
maybe
It's,
it was foreshadowing. Yeah, but here we go.
Choking, right? Yeah. So Shamey, eyes closed. Let's to figure out a little bit.
You don't need regular vision for prophetic decisions here.
This is a Lee Sin impression right now. Oh, he's nibbling.
FIT.
Oh, it's a commit. Okay.
Committed to FIT. Let's see. Of course,
Think
after eating, you
honking.
gotta get a drink. What's the and goes
3-2.
for 3-2. So it's
Wow.
predicting a 3-2 FIT with no bells and whistles here. Just goes straight for FIT.
I know.
food, and then goes straight for 3-2 water.
That's a spicy prediction by
Yeah, basically.
Shamey the Hedgehog right here. We all know that he's been pretty accurate, during the group stages. Yesterday he did choke on some kibbles, like you said, but today it seems like she was decisively
Yeah.
munching on them. So, uh, not sure what that really means for us for this series.
Yeah, we cannot fathom the great mind, the enigma that is the mind of a hedgehog. But yeah, I hope you guys as well make some noise in the chat. Support your team, support this community that we've built up, and of course, support the players and the organizations. And of course, go to the Esports Arena page and join the Predict and Win for a special prize. The special prize is not specified in the post, so I'm not aware. But if it's special, I mean, it's got to
It's
be
special.
something.
It's special.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. So, I mean, Hyron, coming into this first game of this best of five series, knowing that UST are the favorites, and given their team comps, who do you think has the upper hand right here?
I'm actually favoring FIT by a margin here. Because
Hmm.
to me, the Evelyn and the Yone indicate to me a question mark. It's an unknown variable to me just yet. But of course, it's Teletigers playing it, which does solidify it a little bit more. But just if we base it just on the draft, I'm really liking iTamaraws. How about you, for Zerk?
Actually, based on draft alone, I do agree with you. I really like the comp that FIT drafted, but it's just really hard to take away that factor, that UST factor, because
Yeah,
when you look at their comp, although it seems like it's not as rounded out as the FIT comp, there's so much CC there, from Evelyn to Ash to Seth, even the Yone. And if you pair that with overall individual mastery and you mesh it all together, then it should work out for them. Historically speaking, too, whenever they draft really heavy skirmishy champions, they're able to pull it off. So I think I'm expecting a lot of action in the early to mid game from UST because that's usually their style. They really like to be proactive in the early game with any of their champion picks. So that's what I think.
yeah, and yeah, the Teletigers, that's just characteristic of them, just to act as that apex predator in the collegiate league. And as for iTamaraws, they're also the type to be aggressive, but the way they do it is that they try to make opportunities to get a small lead, and then they work on that heavily. And uh, it's gonna be a lot of pressure, not only in Infinity, as I said, with Cosmic Radiance, but also in Yato. Uh,
Right.
I've been seeing Yato enable the rest of his team quite a bit in their group stage games, and I'm hoping that he's able to match here the jungle presence and the roam presence of Crescio as well, coming into this game one.
Yeah, and FIT as an overall team, if I'm not mistaken, they do really have a high percentage of taking early objectives in their
Yeah,
games. But then Michael, as a jungler, he's been delivering really well also in his own right. I've seen him in solo queue and the ranked ladder, and he carries games. So it's also going to be, like you said, the battle of junglers, not just supports. And even, I mean, if you look at it, it's really a 5v5. It's League of
yeah.
Legends, and that's what we're into right now. We're getting into the first game. The players have loaded into the Rift. So everyone in chat, support your favorite teams by
Boys,
using the appropriate hashtags, and let's get right into it.
yeah, share the stream with your friends. Show them that collegiate esports League of Legends is thriving in the Philippines as well, and show them the support that you have for your schools, for your organizations, and friends, because this is what it's all about. And you see Teletigers here. Not neither of these teams. It is the first game of best of five. No need to go for anything too risky, even if you are that quote unquote an aggressive team here.
Mm.
Just watching the entrances of their jungle.
Yeah, not no really OP level 1 skills here for the side of UST. Usually we'd see a 5-man invade coming in for them, either on the top side dry brush or bottom side, depending on which side of the map they're on. But for game 1, at the very least, they're opting to play it pretty safe. So not too much going on, at least right now. So there we go.
Yeah, it does seem that the junglers are starting both, of course, on Raptor camps for these champions, starting on opposite sides of the map. Excuse me, for the most part. And where do you see these two prioritizing in the early game? Like, what's the conditions for winning the early game for both of these teams?
Well, for me, I personally like seeing junglers prioritizing lanes that can establish early control because they can decide to do whatever they want with the wave. But apart from that, in terms of CC, I think bot lane would be a good choice. There's Ashlow, there's Crash on this set that can set up ganks really well. Evelyn as a follow up for like a charm for CC. So I can maybe see that happening, but
Face breaker
wait.
here. A little bit of a
All right.
fight. This might not end up in first blood, but it's going to be setting the stage for the rest of this lane. Okay, not too much action there. But yeah, just from the power of that face breaker against two of these not super mobile uh, champions for FIT's bot lane, this is the Taric and the Senna. Uh, there is the flash and there is the cleanse, but the cleanse does not really help them with the face breakers pullback into Crescio here, and they have to be extremely wary of that and not wait and not get their flashes burnt here by Michael.
Yeah, this cleanse is more catered towards pre-6, the pre-6 stage of the game when Evelyn is already invisible passively and Ash Arrow is already up. So right now, like you said, it's not really gonna come into play much as we say that Dean seems like he has early prio for top lane, and Michael is also on the top side of the map. I feel like if Michael just, I don't think he'll really force ganks because it's really important for Eve to get to 6 really fast.
Super, super important. And right now, it's important to get a lead in terms of XP just from controlling those scuttle crabs. And as you said, rush to 6 as fast as possible to get the most out of these Eve ganks. But for UST, I think this top lane has been progressing as expected in this matchup. But yeah, as you said, they can't really force a gank. All Dane can really do is continue to win the lane without too much explosive leads coming up from it. But this bot lane could be highly contentious. They're really pushing the wave against each other here.
Yep, and we do see okay, so seems like Crescio has had a disconnection, so it come into a bit of a pause right here. And so far, not a lot of action. I mean, it's an Eve and a Lilia as their junglers. They don't really shout early aggression like Jarvan or Lee Sin are released to. So far, it's been pretty peaceful for both teams. Oh, I think you're muted, Hyron.
My bad. I was coughing earlier. But yeah, I'm really interested to see how this mid lane matchup between Pao and Ao uh, will result in. Of course, once Yato and Michael reach level 6, there's going to be a lot more action packed in the mid lane. I have to bet for it. And I just want to see how well this Yone pickup fares for UST.
Yeah, because I don't think we've seen. I think it's only this weekend that Yone was has been allowed to be used for the Alliance League. So this is actually the first time that we're seeing it, and so far it seems like Ao's been doing a good job of playing against it in lane. He has secured a small CS lead for himself, while not a lot of difference on the other lanes. But yeah, just Jovan, he's kind of feeling it right now from Dane on this Akali.
Yeah, and that's not too surprising here. This Akali, of course. Joban needs to be a little bit more careful with his resources. He is on that biscuit rune as well, so is able to hold off a little bit more. But eventually, Dane is just naturally going to out-sustain, outrange, and out-damage Joban here. And look at that, just dodging those headbutts. And for this mid lane, yeah, a small lead here onto Ao, but that's just to be expected from this kind of matchup where it's Lucian versus a melee unit, a melee champion here.
Right, and Michael, level 5, he is spotted out by that ward, so they will know this Eve is on the bottom side of the
Go for
map. And
Drake. Both lanes do have priority near that Drake.
yeah, yeah, so it seems like the early Drake is going to probably fall into the hands of UST, but no, FIT seems like they're converging.
Michael is really, really low. He does have his flash to go over, but that's going to be the Yone going in, taking a lot of damage. Has a flash up. Ignite is ticking through. First blood goes through for Ao, and this might be a stolen Drake from under their noses, and this is going to be a kill. First blood, and the Infernal Drake coming into the hands of the iTamaraws.
Really good sniff out from FIT right there. And I have to say, I feel like there was some sort of communication issue there because we saw Pau going in on the enemy team while Michael was still really busy taking down that Drake. So UST, maybe they weren't really sure on what they wanted to do right there.
And I feel like with this kind of comp, of course they're not level 6 yet. That's crucial for FEU to disrupt that. I don't think they would have made the decision to try and disrupt that if a UST was level 6. But with that timing of the Drake and how the waves were pushing in, yeah, I think UST just made the call but weren't sure if they wanted to turn or if they wanted to finish the Drake. 'Cause it is Infernal, so which is squishy, but there it just really punished them hard.
Yeah, and good job by the iTamaraws. This may be the small buffer that they need to allow them to comfortably scale into the late game and get into really advantageous team fights for themselves. Isana infinitely scales, we do know that. Orn can upgrade items and he's a tank for, you know, that's what Orn does. On the side of UST though, the only really meaty member is Cresho on this set, and compared to an Orn, it's not as big as a meatball.
Yeah, and just from the comp, what UST wants to do here is just a little bit of fighting here between now, but that is just gonna she's gonna return back. Oh, she's getting a turret shot though. But yeah, just from the comps, UST wants to finish these fights fast, and that that means the value of this cosmic radiant for Infinity it just gets exponentially higher, but also harder to utilize correctly. So if they can get a good cosmic radiance, have UST burn their like last embrace, yeah, their last embrace, their initiation and damage with Dane and Tenebria. It's gonna be tough here. FEU pivoting their bot lane onto the top side of the map, preparing for Rift Herald. Dane taking a lot of damage here, has to use the smoke cloud, but he's still fighting. Gets a little bit of a beam here coming from Ame, but yeah, so far seems like FEU with the initiative onto this Rift Herald.
Yeah, they were the first to pull off this proactive rotation, sending both their bot laners to the top side of the map. And it seems like and now they're on it, and maybe UST would like to contest. Ooh.
A huge space breaker from the Enchanted
my.
Crystal Arrow, and Pow takes the kill here, and it is gonna be out, being taken down. Ame as well. Can they get the kill on Cresho? No, Yato can't finish him off. Tenebria though, really low, gets headbutted into oblivion, but Jovan, the last survivor for this fight. He's running, he's trying to get a last kill onto Cresho. He might get charmed here by Michael, and Cresho with a brave face breaker pulls him in, and his team cleans up. UST giving FEU a taste of their own medicine, disrupting the objective and potentially taking it clean here. They are under a ward. FEU knows what's up, but they might be too far to try and contest this.
Yeah, UST answering in kind right there. They say to FIT, you know what? You did to us. We'll do to you what you did to us back in the Drake, but this time they take much more kills, and it was just a really good setup from Cresher right there with also that enchanted crystal arrow from Tenebria, and just synergizing with UST Pau's ultimate on that Yone. Just it was really beautiful synergy being shown by the team of UST right there. They were just first to pull the trigger. I think that's what's important to take
Yeah,
note here.
especially for this comp here. And you could say that Pau just sealed their fate in that Rift Herald. Of course, they weren't able to completely finish that up until now, because Michael did have a little bit of trouble tanking that Rift Herald alone. But eventually they were able to take it, and I'm sure UST will use this to open up the map for themselves. Pau here really aggressively training with Ow. And look at that. The Soul Unbound, so good. If you time it well, the trades are just always in your favor.
It's really just like it's like a budget Z ultimate, which is on a what 15-20 second cooldown. But you know, something important to take note after that whole that whole Rift Herald Skirmish team fight, the kills are now on two of the primary carries of UST. Two on Akali and two on Pau, and that's something FIT really they don't want to see that happening. So they gotta make sure that this does not snowball into future team fights, which are disadvantageous for them. But looks
Yeah,
like something is
Drake's
about to
coming up.
happen too
Yeah,
for
Drake's
Drake.
coming up. that is going to be another turning point for this game. Can FEU stem the bleeding there, or will UST just widen the gash that they've made in FEU's
Ooh, no
final
mana.
point? Oh, Michael, he's going to go straight for the charm. Can he get the ultimate? The execution damage might not even need it. He does pull the trigger, and that's going to be an easy Drake and a solo kill mid lane for Michael. That is wow. So he wasn't even there for the Drake, the jungler, and they just pulled the trigger on this Rift Herald in the mid lane. It's a big gold string here for UST.
Yeah, so Michael really good play there. I feel like FIT their call was, oh, they're going to be taking this Drake, we can give this away, and then suddenly a wild Evelyn appears in the mid lane taking the life of Ao. Spotted him with no mana, that's why he was able to go for that play. So really good spot from Michael right there.
No mana for Relentless Pursuit. Nothing to reduce the cooldown of that E as well, and that just spells a death sentence for this Lucian. UST, they're finding the vulnerabilities in FEU, and they're always going for the juggler here. Get a huge lead, of course, right now. It's around a 3k gold lead, not too big, but it is 12 minutes in, and the gold is concentrated on their big damage dealers in the mid game.
Yeah, definitely. And this is what UST does really well. They're good at dissecting enemy teams with proactive plays. They're really good at spotting.
Retro! It is gonna come through. The Fate Shield unfortunately misses out, but that is gonna be the Haymaker, dealing some damage. That is gonna be the Dawning Shadow. Try and buy FU some time, but that's UST. Very aggressive move, but it seems like they missed some crucial skills there.
Yeah, but like I said, just as I was saying, spotting these plays that you wouldn't otherwise see. Cresho using Hex Flash to go over the wall and just setting it up for Pao. Unfortunately, some of their skills missed, but still, this is what UST is. They are relentless in finding these plays all across the map because everyone, especially for this game, everyone has damage and there's so much CC to help set up these proactive plays.
Yeah, have to be extremely careful there. UST, it's just so aggressive here. That's the power of Cresho. Just being able to pressure around the map. He has that game sense to move around the map and know when he's more useful elsewhere. Since it seems like Tenebria is very self-sufficient in this bot lane. But yeah, name a more iconic duo, Hex Flash and Set.
I really can't. It's just really good on the champion. And they do spot right now. Oh, recalling, it gets cancelled.
Yeah, actually, look at the damage here from Michael.
Yeah.
Doesn't even need the extra damage from a full charm and builds up charges for his Medjais. That is going to be Enchanted Crystal Arrow hitting onto Infinity. Cosmic Radiance is coming through. Can they finish the kill before then? The Dazzle is going to stun Cresho. Can they finish a kill onto this set? Haymaker brings him an explosive one punch onto Infinity. And that is the power of that set to go in hard, take the damage, turn the fight in your favor in Tenebria. No plates are left, but he is pressuring this bot lane.
Man, that Ashe is just so sticky. Even though Cosmic Radiance was popped by Infinity right there, he really couldn't do much because the slows coming from the Ashe were just... It's just really annoying to deal with. You know, when you're on a clunky Taric like that, it's basically Fate Sealed. But on the other... Well, while that was happening in the mid lane, UST was able to take down the first turret of the game. And this was because they were able to get that pick onto another good move from UST. Michael right there. He's really finding these opportunities from UST, and this is the two-pronged duo, the jungle and support for UST. Really, I don't know how they do it. They just keep finding plays left and right.
Seems like they're really aware, not just as a team, but individually, on when these opportunities can be made for themselves. And yeah, Michael, his rotations around the map have been so on point, knowing when to strike against FU to make a big advantage for his team there. And this next Drake could be huge in cementing USD, getting them a bigger lead. The 3k gold lead is now around 4k. And the minute that passes the threshold of 5k, it's going to be really troublesome for this FEU comp to get back.
Yeah, and speaking of troublesome, when you're behind against an Evelyn, it's really hard to ward out the map because you'd really want to ward the camps of Evelyn with your normal wards, right? But if you're behind, it's really hard to go past that line beyond the river because she might be lurking somewhere in your jungle. And if you're warding your own jungle, you can't really spot her because she's invisible. So FIT really need to take care here not to get picked off.
They are being proactive here, though. They are challenging this Drift Herald. They're telling UST, we'll stand our ground here. Let's see what you've got. Out here has his flash ready. This could be good. Call it the Forge God. This is going to be Dane taking a lot of damage. Dawning Shadow as well. No damage onto them, but the Ocean Drake gets secured by UST. Seems like they will trade these neutral objectives for now.
Yeah, but Pao was split pushing on the bottom lane.
Oh,
Seems
and
like
Chad critical arrow stun onto Infinity. No time for
boy.
Cosmic Radiance. Gets bursted down. Dane, though, relentless coming through. Has to dash out to try and save himself. But Michael is hungry for a kill. Can he do it? Is he going to flash over for this? It doesn't seem like it, but they are cutting off FEU, preventing them from backing. This is going to be Jovan. He's going to get charmed through Facebreaker as well. There's a lot of AoE damage in this choke point. FEU is thriving, but Dane is going to be the fate sealed here for FEU as the ultimate comes through from Pao. Wasn't even truly there. His soul was unbound. Can he get this clock kill onto Yato? He's going to get stunned down by Infinity here, but this Tarek, he is feeling the pain, and I think at this point, Yato is playing with fire. He's just looking for an opportunity to back. He does have the Rift Herald Eye, and that is going to let him come back unscathed. But
just
FU, though, they're feeling the pain.
I mean, yeah, they are, and I like what they're doing. They're being proactive with their plays, and they did get the Herald, but just the overall game sense of UST knowing that they can having secured that Herald, that they can stop them from getting a comfortable back while UST Pao slowly makes his way to the top side of the map as Michael does the same thing and then engage and then start the team fight using Enchanted Crystal Arrow. All those things string together. It's just really beautiful to watch.
Of course, FU still fighting back, but Dane, he's
Dane.
3-0-5. He sees the marksman. He's going to try and take it down without any trouble. But yeah, FEU did have a big opportunity there. That choke point was super good for Ame and Ao. But unfortunately for them, or rather, because UST proactiveness and the way they played the map, Pao right there just in time to seal their fate.
Yeah.
Special though.
Okay.
Oh, they go straight in. Infinity, goodbye. 0-4-1. They're really making sure that to kill Infinity over and over here so he doesn't get any gold from his support, from utilizing his support item, as well as generally make it so he's too squishy to use his ultimate.
Yeah, and this is just UST basically doing their thing. They're choking out FIT at this point.
That's coming through. Showstopper just seal the deal, and Michael is gonna come through. The haymaker is short, but Michael is able to slash him down, and Tenebria gets this mid lane turret. A clean lead here on UST, almost 8k. Actually, that is exactly 8k. Dane here might be in trouble, has to dash away, is invisible right now, but
man,
just
man.
just at the edge of that Dawning Shadow, and Dane lives to see another day. 4-0-6. Scary.
That was a full health Lucian getting tower dove in the tier 2 tower and top side of the map. UST just knowing that they can do these things, and this is experience paying off. But not just that, just their overall mastery of their champions and just the general skill level at that each of these players are at all contribute to their awareness of what they can do. And right now they know they can basically do whatever they want. The jungle of FIT, it basically has a UST stamp on it. So that's what they're doing, and I feel like they just need to keep pressuring like what they're doing because they keep finding picks. Look at this, pow!
Yeah, would even get a kill here onto Jovan, the tankiest member of FEU. All within the span of his soul unbound duration, gets the kill onto Jovan. That tells us that Pao is capable of killing the rest of FEU without even being truly there, and that is scary thought.
Yeah. Just to
Oh,
be
testing
fair, but
arrow.
hold that. Okay, so
Oh,
Cleanse coming in from Ame manages to, stop another kill from coming into the
wow.
pockets of UST. But in fairness, Jovan did not build armor yet when he died to Pau there. So he had the HP, but Pau already had the Borg, already had the PD. So just that continuous DPS managed to kill off that Ornn right there. Yeah.
Yeah, but Tenebria might be in trouble. He is gonna get drowsy.
Okay.
Gets put to sleep here by Ao. A very important shutdown onto this 2-6-1 Lucian, now 3-6-1. Could this be the opportunity that they need? Yato taking a lot of damage. Those blooming blows. It is gonna be the headbutt from the Call of the Forge God, finding none but Crescio in his super big trouble here. Gets ignited, grievous wounds, haymaker to try and buy himself some time. Pau gets a kill on Jovan in the backside of that fight, but it is going to be right now a 3v4 in favor of FEU, and they might get the control over this Ocean Drake. Teleport coming through from Dane. FEU does not want to challenge that Shinobi, and this is going to be, at this point, a very close fight between this Ocean Drake, but FEU has to be extremely careful. The Seal Fake comes through. Yato is gonna give Pau a godlike kill here. That is gonna be the Cosmic Radiance, buying them a little bit of time, but gets cleaned up by UST immediately after. Pau, Dane, all of them actually are popping off with a triple kill onto this top laner, and they're marching down after that clean ace onto those turrets.
Note that UST could have opted to just trade this Drake for a top tier 3 tower. But no, they say no. They just don't want to give FIT anything. And also to that, it was a 4v3. But then all the gold was in the pockets of the carries of UST. But they gotta be careful here. Ignite is on him. I think he will
Just
just
survived just
oh
barely.
yeah, thumbs up coming out from him. But yeah, like just the gold in the pockets of the two assassins of UST enable them to come out on top of that 4v3. Initially, it was Pau getting that pick off, right? So it became a 3v3, but just the damage because they have their items. It's just that's it. That's all I can say.
I'm actually wondering here for FIT's roster right now. I just it all clicked to me just now that Do is not playing. It's actually Ame and then Infinity. Yeah, it's Do. It's not Do playing instead of Ame. I don't know if that's a big factor here, because so far, this is not how FEU has been playing. Is not because Ame has been blundering. It's because UST has just been so clean in their rotations and exploiting FEU. So I'm actually wondering if Do not playing here actually even matters for FEU against UST. But Crescio might be in trouble. But he is known to dive deep into the depths of danger. Showstopper in a 4-man facebreaker means FEU's horns are broken. That is going to be called the Forge God, but that is futile. They do get a kill onto this UST member, but can he get a kill? No, gets revenge killed by Dane. And that is just murder coming in from Crescio. Man, that was breathtaking. Oh my god.
4 strings of murder right there, and the main orchestrator there was Crescio. He's doing Crescio things, man. Meanwhile, Pao trying to do things of his own, nearly diving into the fountain, but man,
Wow, he went straight for it. Sullenbound pulls the yanks his leash there, and I think UST has to be satisfied with that mid lane inhibitor with those tons of kills. They're now 13k gold ahead of the iTamaraws, and they have to be eyeing this Baron here just to cleanly finish off this game, control the territory. This entire jungle is, like I said, stamped with a UST mark. They peed in this forest. This is the Tigers' territory.
they've been on this forest. Yeah, I mean it does make sense, and they're really not letting FIT an inch into their jungler. And even if they do, they just kill them. I mean, there's not much FIT can do at this point, in my opinion. The goal lead is just too big. If I were FIT right now, I'd be thinking, what should we do to adjust in terms of how we play for game 2, because this is a best of 5, and the chances of UST giving this game up are very unlikely, even close to 0.
Yeah, I think FEU just has to think, okay, what do we have against UST for next game? Because this is, even with picks that aren't usually banned here, like the Evelyn, Even the Yone. I think well, Yone does get bad here and there, but what? How do they have to play this? Is it gonna be the draft? Oh, Challenge Crystal Harrow. It's on Infinity once again. The UST pulls the trigger. Cosmic Radiance, will it come through? This might be the chance that FEU needs. Michael has to last embrace away, but Pau comes in with his katanas, dual katanas. Niten is to be the name of the game here, but Dane uses that as a distraction to get himself another triple kill in this game, and I think this is the first game of this match sealed for UST, and that is a huge momentum boost for them in this best of 5.
Yep, UST, not wasting any time right there, and they managed to basically cut up FIT just like sushi right there. I mean, I think like just responding to what you said, FIT, what are the things that they have to adjust in their draft? Perhaps the problem there is UST is basically their players are just so rich in champion pool for the early game. So if FIT decides to match their early game with early game, um, the advantage falls into UST's hands just because of the overall quality I feel of their individual performances. So I really had no problem whatsoever with the draft that they were
Yeah,
able to equip themselves. But then I think they need to play a bit tighter, especially against an Evelyn. They can't afford to get picked off that many times early. They can't afford to be the ones to be jumped on. They have to be the ones to pull the trigger first against a team like UST.
yeah, definitely. And all these adjustments are definitely going to be important here. Uh, it's tough. It's tough. Like you said, you can't really ban out the Teletigers and iTamaraws. They need to go on the execution. Maybe have a different mindset for draft instead of focusing on champions. Focus on the strategies allowed by those champions that they're banning. But of course, I want to hear the thoughts of the analysts on this too. Of course, on the analyst desk we have Kellogg and Ventus as usual, and replacing me from yesterday, it is now Uwomi on the analyst desk. Take it away, Uwomi and the gang.
Welcome back to Predator Alliance League Analyst Desk, where we give you information without sounding like boring nerds. My name is Uomi, and together with me is Ventus and Kellogg. Pag-uusapan natin kung ano ba nangyari sa Game 1 ng FIT versus UST. This is a very important game for both universities here dahil, as we all know, the rivalries yan sa Espanya. Let's talk about what happened from start to finish. So, speaking of start, banning phase muna tayo. We saw a lot of support-focused bans on the second rotation. But on the first rotation though, feeling ko napaka-importante ng mga bans na Hecarim and even Renekton who could definitely dive the backline. But speaking of the second rotation picks ulit na puro support-focused, what does that do to the bottom lane ba? Kellogg, you're a support, I mean, both of you guys are support players. But Kellogg, what does that do to the draft? Ng second rotation, sobrang choked out ang supports.
And for actually, it already got influenced by the first pick for UST. They actually got Ash for free, and FIT is answering that with the Senna, which we actually saw also from the games yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. But the Caitlyn ban from FIT does signal that Ash is free for USD, and then they answer that with Senna, which is Ame's actually comfort pick because Du is not playing in this round. And then from that, you see USD actually has a primary engage tool from their AD carry, which FIT does not have. So going back to that support bans that you have that USD did and FIT has done also as a response, there's no engage in the support role. But Cresher does opt for a set pick. That could be like a secondary engage tool or a main flanking tool. But FIT does go for an R5 Taric, maybe just to try to do something about that heavy team fighting thing by UST that they have.
Yeah, and total na open up mo na rin, Kellogg. The picks were quite surprising in the first rotation nga, no? We saw a lot of good picks, but a few questionable ones as well. And personally, I think the Yone was a little bit too greedy coming in from UST, but hey, it worked. So, let's talk about the first rotation picks a little bit. Ventus, we were talking earlier and you actually told me your thoughts about it. Maybe you should share it to our viewers as well. Of course, nasa analyst desk nga tayo. What happened in the first rotation picks?
I do feel like the Lilia pick was okay because depending on the player or yung comfort mo with the champion, I still do think na he's a strong blind pickable champion.
I see, I see. So, strong blind pick champion on the Lilia. But looking at what happened in the matchup, Evelyn versus Lilia, what happened wrong in that regard? I mean, sobrang confident na ni Michael. He even bought a Medjay Soul Stealer in the semifinals. So, talk about it a little bit more.
I think the difference in play was just Michael sat mid and just kept on solo killing the Lucian, which was actually quite surprising kasi namamatay na yung Lucian just beside his own tower. So I think doon na nag-snowball yung game for UST.
I see. So, snowball, that's another keyword that we could look at to analyze this game because nung nakita natin yung una, I mean, I think we have a replay of that. The first dragon actually went to FIT over here. Kellogg, what happened here?
Yeah, well, I guess the bot lane was pushed, and like this Drake was already going to Teletigers side, and they were actually positioned for this. But meanwhile, FIT was able to just get this, and I think uh they get the Drake also, and they get the first blood going into Ao, and this could already lead to that snowball that you were talking about. Na pwede nilang tapatan yung UST early game.
Yeah, and in early game is really the focal point of this game. Nakita natin the action almost happened early to mid, talagang puro bakbakan. But man, as kita naman yung result, Teletigers won game 1 even if iTamaraws stole that Drake, won the first blood, and for some reason hindi siya talaga nag-lead sa snowball. Then the first turn around though, Ventus, the first turn around happened at another big objective. It's the Rift Herald. I think we also have a replay of that as well. Can you talk over this?
So I think yung mistake ng Pit here was even though they were able to secure the Herald, yung pathing nila afterwards was kinda wrong because they were separated dun sa exit here. We could see that Infinity was exiting downwards with yung other teammates nila. Hindi nila alam kung nasan yung Eve. So I think it was very greedy and dangerous na they split up instead of just grouping as 5 to exit the team fight.
Yeah, I have to agree with you over there. The only ward that they had in that jungle area when that happened was that one we control ward in the entrance. I feel like that gave them this false sense of safety. They didn't respect the Ash Arrow, nor did they respect the Evelyn, as you said. And I think respect is what you should give to a team that has consistently really showed how strong they are. And if akala mo safe ka na, I mean, sayang na, di ba? That was already the Herald take for them. That could have been a win. Na-trade nila yung Ocean Drake, sure, but they won the Rift Herald instead. But now that this is all said and done, though, anong pwede nilang gawin going towards Game 2? Because this is a best of 5 series. They have the chance to come back in this series pa naman. Hello?
Well, ayun nga yung sabi mo, no? Like, they should respect the ones who have done, like, a really consistent performance here in Collegiate. However, what I do think is that they shouldn't concede their early game. Like, in that game, they almost were able to snowball, but with their picks, I think they need to match the laners from UST. Like, that Lucian and that Ornn, it just bent over to that Yone and Akali, and they really need to match that kind of power early. Then they can't, or else they will just really lose to UST straight up.
Alright, but here's an even harder question, Ventus. Ito, medyo, paano nila sasabayan yung solo laners since may nakita tayong obvious na nagkaroon nga ng gap doon sa solo laners natin? I mean, how do they adjust yung small adjustments that they could do for next game?
I really do feel like if they try to match yung aggression, kasi siguro baka may factor na takot sila kasi alam nilang baka ma-outskill sila sa lane. So maybe if they try to pick a more aggressive champions to try to face off with UST, they might have a chance. Kaysa naman they pick scaling champions and hope for the best na umabot sila sa late game.
All right. And I know we still have a few minutes on the clock to talk about the first game. And napag-usapan naman na natin kung ano yung mga importanteng facts on adjustments as well for coming into the second game. Let's talk about something else. Mentality. This is something that's really in the sa dugo ng mga champions at mga champions soon to be. And having the mentality in the best of five, having healthy mentality in best of five, how important is it for any team to who lost in game 1? Kellogg, I mean, ikaw, captain ka ng ADMO. So you do have the, let's say, responsibility to keep your whole team in check. What do you do if ever you lose a game 1 in a dominating fashion like that?
Oo nga, mahirap nga na tanong yan kasi di ko alam yung sagot. De joke lang. It's more of you really just need to regroup together, and if someone's actually tilted or someone's actually getting mad, you really have to calm them down. But it really depends on your teammates if they still have their head in the game, especially that
Wow.
they do know that it's five games. Like in case of the best of five, I've only actually experienced one best of five in my life, and they really just have to make sure that they still have the urge to play. Like when that's gone, it's really hard to bounce back. But sometimes you just have to hop onto your comfort picks or hop onto something that's tried and tested, and then maybe you can get your mental reset that way.
Yeah, mental reset is the key word over there. About you, Ventus, you have your fair share of experience as well. Having to lose a game like that, how do you come back at least mentally?
Mm, Based from experience, or at least yung mga tinuro sa akin before when I was like first year ko with the team, I think the key point in best of fives are kapag talo kayo, isipin mo na lang na yung next game best of one na lang, tapos you try your best to get that win back. Kasi
You know-
regardless kung gaano kasama yung previous game nyo, you should not let that game affect your mental for the upcoming game kasi fresh start nyo na yun.
Yeah, it really is a fresh start. It really is a fresh start. So we're entering game 2 right now, FIT versus UST, and we've already given our thoughts over this whole, recovery. Because I really feel like FIT needs to recover from this one if they want to stay alive. But we've been talking about FIT for quite a while. If you're UST, here's our final thoughts now. If you're UST, how do you close it out? For very quick lang, how do you close this out ng game 2 as fast as it happened in game 1? Kellogg, ikaw muna.
Just dominate lane like what they've always been doing, even in the group stages. I think they can win just in that fashion.
Alright, how about you, Ventus?
Play as confidently as they would normally do lang, and I think they would do well naman.
Yeah, and again, yung pinaka-importanting part is consistency. So that's been our quick analysis over game 1. Abangan natin yung game 2. If FIT could adjust, if FIT could come back in this series, or will UST, as Kellogg and Ventus said, dominate lane and dominate the game once again. Again, we have been your analyst desk. This is Kellogg and Ventus, and we will be signing off, and we will be back after a quick break.